Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday Show. I'm Hammer, and I'm joined with my two favorite Wednesday Show hosts forever and ever, Jen T. Maxey.
Hello.
And Terry Diamantis.
Hello.
How you doing, Jen?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I am well. Terry, how are you?
I am not bad. I am.
That's not the same as I'm good.
I am better than I was when we started because I'm less annoyed at the repair guys for charging me when they shouldn't have. But
well,
no, I'm not bad.
We have a path to salvation with that, so
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I'll give him a call after the stream. It looks like on the website they charge you no matter what, and then you have to like call up and say, "Hey, didn't get fixed," and then they reverse the charge. So I guess they're just hoping that most people don't bother. So
exactly, that's a little scummy.
Yeah.
Before we get into the topics, let's go ahead and see who's joining us in chat. Terry, you want to start?
Sure. Let's head over to Rumble.
I caught you off guard.
We have the Cannibalistic Wizard. We have Johnny the Hellcat. He's added an extra middle name there. I didn't notice before. Green Badger. Corsten. And...
OG.
Yeah, I think... Oh, and Tall Person right at the end. Jumped in just as we started on YouTube.
Hey, Tall Person. Go ahead, Jen. Go ahead and do YouTube.
And so we start with the Hammer and Cannibalistic Wizard and hello, Rotten Corpse, and Terry has joined us, and Johnny Hellcat, hello, and Cynic, and Keep It Damn, hello, Keep It Damn, and we got Tall Person, and JB, and we got Green Door Out Badgers, when we got Lisa, hello, Lisa, and Costin, we got Costin.
Again.
Hello, Costin.
And of course, more people will join in as the night goes. I'm going to go over the topics quickly, just by name, for people who didn't catch the show title in YouTube or Rumble. Exited Colorado. Got to do that. Got to do that. Texas, Colorado. I specifically wrote it that way so that people would pronounce it that way if they were to read it out loud, instead of just putting in Colorado. Whatever. Yes. Flown in $20 in Sweeny, which I kind of made a mistake with that. I should have said Sydney.
Right.
Because then they could have thought, well, maybe it has something to do with Australia. Terry's here. And but no, it's about Sydney Sweeny. Anyway, I'll let you guys pick which one we start with, unless you have something else you want to talk about first.
Well, I'm sure we have men of culture in chat who hear the word boobs and they click like.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. God, I think, is that the first time I've ever said that for a channel?
Possibly.
Probably. But you don't have to like and subscribe. Just hang out with us while we talk. That's all it's important.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about that stuff. I do like comparing the number of people who come to the Wednesday show compared to other nights. Because like other nights usually get more than us. Yeah. Well, we start off slow. We always start off with like 7 or 8 people, and then it builds up to like 15 in the middle of the night. But we get a lot of views. The
pre-show is good for that. Like, it gives people kind of like a chance to turn up.
Yeah.
So we're not starting with an empty chat. We've got like the people from Rumble already there.
And during the pre-show, it's much more casual, so we get a chance to talk to the people who are in chat more than we do when I fire up YouTube. So
yeah,
there's more interaction there. So you well, obviously, Jen gets the choice. Is there one you want to pick, Jen?
I'm looking at it. I'm just thinking.
You didn't read it before the show, did you?
I did. It's just.
No, you didn't. You're lying.
No, I did. It's
you
just,
did?
Yeah, it's just. I'm not sure which one. Like, I mean,
I'm a little vague. I'm a little vague. It's kind of my fault.
On the YouTube it's vague, but on the Twitter it's more. The last two I'm not really sure about, so I might go with like the other two, and it's a pick between. Oh goodness!
There's 5 total.
Yeah, I noticed. Well, it's just I kind of like that. I kind of like that he had his ballot restored, and I kind of thought that the Haley thing was
Colorado.
hilarious, and the Haley thing was hilarious. So I'm kind of torn between two things.
Let's go with Colorado first, just because it's the one that probably has the least amount of information behind it. But Colorado, our problem child in the United States, tried to remove almost said Biden, Trump, from the ballot for the GOP nomination. And they basically done it, and their Supreme Court had signed off on it. And then our Supreme Court decided, nah, you can't do that. And in a 9-0 decision, that means all the Democrats went along with it. They said, no. And then Trump turned around and won Colorado on Tuesday, 63-33 over Haley. So they put him back on the ballot, and he blasted her on that same state.
And then, most importantly, Keith Olbermann pissed his eyes, literally.
Yeah. That was so funny. I don't think he meant to say that. I really don't.
Can't have. There is no way he meant to say that.
I was going to put it in there. I didn't want to add the whole urination thing to the stream, but it is pretty funny because he is so TDS. He's like we discussed before the show. He's worse than Bill Maher, and that's pretty bad. He's
up there with Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, but have you heard Rappaport the last couple of days talking about voting for Trump?
His mind.
Yeah. I mean,
so he's actually worse than Michael Rappaport.
Yeah. Michael Rappaport, who has been huge on TDS, hates the man. I've never seen someone so full of vitriol as Rappaport. And now he's saying, well, if I had to vote between him and a dead man. Yeah, and he's right. Nice. He's right. Biden is a Roomba. He's just... The fact that his wife has to get up on stage to get him off the stage. It's gone too far, man. That poor guy. I have a certain amount of empathy for him because he should be in a home resting somewhere, and they got him running around in airplanes and making a fool of himself in front of the camera. I can't wait for the State of the Union. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, for people who don't know, Tuesday, what was referred to as Super Tuesday, a bunch of states get together and they all vote on the same day for who they want to be their GOP nominated candidate for a primary against Biden. And Haley ran, of course, because she doesn't, at least up to this point, didn't know enough to get the hell out of the race. And surprisingly, she won a state. She won Vermont. It was by 4 points, so it was basically a tie. But Trump won every other state handily, including Alabama by 80%.
Nice.
Yeah, and some of those votes were for Ron DeSantis, so she didn't even get 20. She got like 13, and Ron got the rest of them. So to say that she got smacked down, man, I don't know. I was talking on Discord the other night because Tuesday nights the minions get on Discord and talk around 8 o'clock on, so you can always stop by and say hello to us. I mentioned there that I had written a tweet that have you ever, I don't know if you've ever done this, but have you ever written a tweet and it's like perfectly what you want to say, and then you realize, well, maybe this is a little too spicy, and you hover one thumb over cancel and the other thumb over tweet, and you have to decide which thumb's going to win. Have you ever done that? Well,
I don't use Twitter on my phone, so it's not quite the same.
Oh, okay.
There's been times when I've had the mouse hovering over the post button, and it's like, do I really want to say this?
No, let's say this. Jen, have you ever run into that where you thought, maybe this is too spicy, I should probably not do this?
Yes, many times. Even just walking down certain hills will have me going, maybe I'll pick a different hill.
Well, I'm kind of, I kind of pride myself that I'm how do I explain this? When it comes to my political opinion, I'm usually pretty out there, I think. But when it comes to stuff like typical guy stuff, like women and that kind of stuff, I don't watch porn. I don't post porn pictures on Discord. I'm pretty prudish, I guess you would say. Not really, but kind of. And I kind of pride myself on that. I see other guys posting shots on Discord. I'm like, Jesus, I really don't need to see. That's pretty blatant. You know, when I post stuff on Discord that's in the non-safe for work area, it's bikini shots and lingerie, sexy stuff, but tasteful. So, but I had written this tweet and I was like, you've heard the term when someone beats somebody, they say, I spanked him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of played off of that with Nikki Haley getting spanked. And it was pretty spicy. I mean, I used the term bare ass and a few other things, and bending her. I got pretty obvious. So my finger was on it. I couldn't do it. I had to back off. I hit cancel, and now I regret it. But she did get spanked. If you look at all the ones she lost, he did 70 and 60 and 70% for the vast majority. I think 2 of them were like at 55 or 57, but the rest of them were all in the 70s, and he just destroyed her. So in case anybody doesn't know, Nikki Haley has withdrawn.
Yes.
He's no longer in the race. So
see, I think you could have probably just put a picture of Trump, a picture of Nikki Haley in the Brazzers logo, and that would have done the job just fine.
So yeah, so she finally decided after all this time to back down, and it's past due, but at least she did it.
I don't know. I kind of was hoping she'd keep going so she could keep burning through more Democratic money.
Yeah.
I like it when they throw their money out at really bad plans.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, most of the people who were voting for Nikki Haley were not Republicans, because Democrats are allowed to vote in the GOP nomination process in a lot of the states. Not every state, but a lot of them. So to make Trump look bad, Democrats were signing up as, what's the term, undecided, and then voting for Haley to make Trump look bad. Because they just wanted, if we can find a way to dig Trump, we're going to take it. You know, so that's what they were doing. So she was getting much better numbers, but all of that came with money too, because a lot of Democrats have been throwing money into her account to try to keep her in the race, to keep her going, to be a challenge to Trump, make Trump look bad. So yeah, now that she's out, she's not going to get that free Democratic money anymore, which is 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Because is it bothering Trump? Not at all.
No.
You know, if the Democrats want to spend their money on a candidate that's never going to get in, I'd soak them dry. But it does look bad that she was doing that. So whatever. So yeah, so that's what happened with Colorado. It was a couple other states. I think, what was it, Maine, and somebody else also wanted to do this. But after the SCOTUS decided to slap down that whole states aren't allowed to do that once they made that decision. Because nowhere in the 13th Amendment does it say anything about this, about how this is processed. Who's in charge of doing this? If insurrection is an issue, who's the hammer?
It's Tall Person was also making the point that the decision was 9-0, and yet people are still like, all the people on the left are blaming Clarence Thomas specifically.
You know, Democrats hate black people.
They do, and like it's never been more obvious.
Yeah, but there is a caveat to that 9-0. As far as a decision, it was 9-0, but the liberal judges and Amy Coney Barrett objected in part. They still voted 9-0. That's done. That's it. But there were dissensions from the liberal judges and Amy Coney Barrett that said, telling people that it is adjudicated by Congress is not written anywhere. You're creating new law there, and that's going too far. And it's not a bad point. It's a good point, because the 14th Amendment, Section 3, does not say Congress will do this, nor does it say the states will do this. But what SCOTUS said is, well, it should be up to they didn't write a law, but they said it should be up to Congress. So that means if it ever gets challenged, and it goes to SCOTUS, SCOTUS is going to turn it down unless it's Congress. Hopefully what'll happen is there'll be a section 6, which I don't think exists yet, that says how the law is actuated and includes language that says this should be handled by Congress.
I think they should just let me do it. I'll make the decision.
This is part of what I mean by there are actually people flipping on the Dems for this kind of behavior, like this overblown outreach because of Trump, instead of actually using some tactics or actually, you know, actually working on the problems that they have. They're going with stuff that's so unbelievably authoritarian. And like, I was watching a couple clips from people responding to this, and they're so loony.
Yeah, they are.
Like, I wouldn't vote for them either. Like, they're so crazy for power, it's scary.
Off topic, T-Radam says I sound a little fuzzy, and Skeptalk says I'm overdriving the microphone. So I turned myself down on YouTube's OBS, and I turned my microphone down on my entire system. So we'll have to see if that makes it sound any better. It's very important for me to sound good.
Yeah.
So if I sound better now, thank you for paying attention to the way I sound. The question would be, do I sound the same on Rumble? Because Rumble runs a separate OBS specifically for Rumble, and it has its own volume control there. So I just make them both the same.
Rumble people, let us know if Hammer sounds
I should sound a little different because I turned it down system wide, but I didn't make any changes to the OBS that runs the Rumble stream. So
speaking of Rumble, Tall Person is over there, and he says that Engeron judge in particular pissed him off. Him and Fannie Willis. So
yeah, I really haven't been paying it. That's a whole story in of itself. We could definitely use that as a topic for the show, the whole Fannie Willis saga. But it's going to be over a month or 2 months worth of testimony, and I didn't want to hit it every night, so I just kind of left it alone. Are either of you actually interested in that story?
I've been watching it off and on. Like I kind of like watching Nate, the lawyer, because he's pretty good at following all of it. But it's just, there's so much of that case where you can tell where the Dems are at, and it's a lot of money grifting. I don't think it's going to stop with just Fannie Willis. I think she's just the start of a lot of problems going on with the Dems, you know. But if they're willing to put themselves out there, I hope they realize that the internet doesn't forget things either.
True. I don't know the story or pretty much at all. I just want to make sure Rumble doesn't get lost, because it's very easy to just focus on YouTube once you move over here. So if I see Rumble comments, I do try and point them out.
I keep both chats open. Most of the time I have the live chat for Rumble on my left screen, right next to the screen for the stream for YouTube, which includes a chat for the Minions channel. So that way I can type on either one. I can either type on my channel for my ID as Hammer, or I can also type as Minions in the Zoo. So I have a tendency to just look to my left. That's also where I keep the show notes. When the show is actually on and we're actually talking like we are now, I'm usually looking at my left-hand screen almost completely, because that's where all the chat is, and that's where I play all the music at, and that's where my microphone is. My microphone is to my left. So most of the night I'm looking to the left. But all the OBSs are on my right screen.
It's funny, because my laptop died, I'm streaming. Well, I always stream from my gaming PC, but I have YouTube and Rumble open on the gaming PC as well, whereas usually it'd be on the laptop. And the screens are much bigger, so I can actually see the Rumble chat much more clearly on the on the YouTube, because you've got both chats showing at the same time.
Yeah,
I can actually read the Rumble chat a lot more easily because the screen is so much bigger.
Yeah. So yeah, Keyradam says I sound better now. So hopefully I sound good on Rumble as well, because the volume levels and stuff like that are independent from each other. How I sound on YouTube is not how I'm going to sound on Rumble. So they're completely separate processors. So we'll see. Tall person's going to check for us any second, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's Colorado. We have exited, flown in, $20 in Sweeny.
I think the $20 one, because from what little I
There's a
know
lot
of it,
there. That's a good story.
something about raising the minimum wage for someone for like restaurant workers or something like that. I think you said.
So here's the deal. This is just in California. This is Gavin. What did Trump call him? He gave Newsom a nickname.
I just call him Gavin Nuisance, but I'm sure.
Yeah, I forget what was the one he used. New Scum.
Oh, okay.
I always called him Gavin Gruesome because I think he looks like a vampire or something. The way his hair is always slicked back.
Yeah, what's the character from American Psycho? Patrick Bateman.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's definitely got that psycho look to him. Slicky dick kind of guy. But anyway, the story is that he's raising the minimum wage. If $15 wasn't bad enough, in California, fast food workers will have a minimum wage mandated by the state of $20.
That is insane.
It is insane for such a low skill job. Nothing against our fast food workers. You make good food. I love that. But $20, man, dude, that's not cool. Because that just means that money that should be used for better things is just not going to happen.
No, I mean, what it means is they're not going to hire anyone. They're just going to...
They're going to fire people. They already have.
Yeah, but they're just going to replace even more people with those self-service kiosks. Like, if it's going to cost them $20 an hour to have an actual human serving the customers, and they're like, we can't afford that, or we don't want to pay that, we'll just sack everyone, and the customers are already used to self-ordering anyway. A lot of people prefer it, so why bother paying the staff?
Thanks everybody for checking Rumble. I appreciate it. What's going to happen, and it already started to happen, is I don't know if it was Domino's or who it was, some pizza company fired all of their delivery people.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
And they turned it over to DoorDash. Yeah. So it's a win for them, but 1,200 people are out of jobs now. Thank you, Gavin Gruesome, for doing that for us.
Well, the problem is, if the job isn't worth the minimum wage, and the jobs just go away.
Yeah. I mean, they'll start putting kiosks in like they have. Yeah. There's a McDonald's that's fully automated. There's like one person inside just to watch to make sure everything works right. Otherwise, everything's like automated.
If I'm willing to pay $7 an hour for a job, and then the government says, well, actually, you have to pay $20 an hour for that job, it's like, no, I don't need the job that bad.
Okay, everybody's fired.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll work this place by myself if I have to. Well, people are going to leave too. I mean, there are companies that are just going to say, look, I'm a fast food company, but I'm not McDonald's. I can't absorb this by using money from stores that are not in California to balance this out. I can't do that. I just have to leave the state or get a different, or just abandon the job entirely and do something else with my life.
Yeah, and then that's all of a sudden, why do we have food deserts?
Yeah.
Well, you drove all the food places out of business.
Yeah. So if it's not crime driving food deserts like in Baltimore and Philadelphia and New York, Chicago and stuff like that, New York, it'll be things are just too expensive to run a business there anymore.
Yeah.
You can't run a fast food business anymore. So now the whole deal with this is not just the fact that it's $20. That's bad enough. But what's in there is an exemption that if you bake your own bread on site, you don't have to pay $20 to your workers.
That makes no sense.
Do you know why they did this?
Because Subway paid them to?
Doesn't have anything to do with Subway. It's Panera. One of Gavin's best friends owns a Panera franchise, a bunch of stores in California.
Okay, I don't know what a Panera is. I'm guessing it's a similar thing to Subway.
Panera Bread. Yeah, it's like a sub shop kind of. A little
hootie
tootie. Yeah, it's a hootie tootie sandwich shop. It's a little bit, almond toast kind of place. give you an idea.
Oh, and
But
Tall Person on Rumble said the same thing. Isn't there an exemption if you make bread or something like that? So yes,
yeah,
apparently there is.
yeah. So his friend, his personal friend that he's known since high school, owns a bunch of Panera breads. So because he bakes bread on site, he doesn't have to pay his workers $20.
Right.
So
How convenient.
what we're saying here is obvious corruption.
No.
Yeah.
In the government?
This is obvious, though. This isn't just, well, that's a little strange. No, it's beyond that's a little strange. This is and when asked, he says, "Oh, that was just how we made the sausage." He just kind of brushed it aside.
I remember hearing something in New South Wales where they passed a law saying that all slot machines needed these stickers that said, your chance of winning is like less than 1 in a million or whatever. Like, and then it came out that his wife owned the printing company that made those stickers.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. That's actually funny.
Yeah.
Actually funny. We had to put stickers on. Don't worry, my wife makes those.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great. Hey, you guys are every bit as bad as we are. I agree.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's what's happening in California with Gavin Newsom. He's obviously doing something that's, it's bad. It's bad in an obvious way.
Frosted says every business in California will now double as a bakery. I wouldn't be surprised.
The problem with that is that written into the same law is that you had to be baking bread on premises already.
Okay.
So you can't just jump in now, and you had to have been doing it since sometime in 23. I forget, it was like not February. It was later in the year. It was like November of 23.
So it's not even you have to have been baking bread for X period of time. It's if you weren't already doing it on this particular day, you completely screwed over.
Correct.
That is even worse than I thought.
So what happens if they open up a new store for Panera? Does that store have to pay or not? Because they weren't baking bread in 2023 because the building didn't exist in 2023.
I think they would probably say the company.
The company existed, right? Yeah. So why does that make sense?
It doesn't.
Because McDonald's has existed since 2023. What's that?
It makes sense because Gavin Newsom is, corrupt. But
clearly, sometimes they do things and it makes you think. To quote Arsenio Hall, it makes you go, hmm. Mm-hmm. But in this case, no, it's pretty blatant. That's the part that bothers me.
Just for the benefit of YouTube, when I say corrupt, I do, of course, mean a lovely person who everyone should adore.
What do you think of Gavin Newsom, Jen?
I think he exchanges socks with my prime minister, and I'm kind of still judging them both for it. I'm like, I've never heard of men exchanging socks that weren't like super duper 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 really really best friends, like really really best friends. Even then, that's weird.
More than that, I think.
Like that, yeah.
You think they swap more than socks, so like bodily fluids or something?
They're sock puppet friends.
Are either one of them married? Is Trudeau married?
Well, he's divorced, as far as I'm aware, or divorcing still.
Is that because he's gay that he got divorced?
I don't have proof. I don't have any proof. I think he is, though.
Gavin's not racist.
I mean, it's just my own personal opinion. I think he is gay. I think he's just been like hiding the fact that he's been gay his entire life. And I'm like, you're a homophobe, you fucker.
Mm-hmm.
There are some men that maybe it's because I'm kind of a hick myself, but there are some men that are just too concerned about their looks. I have to make sure that this hair is no longer than this long on my face because I want to look very metrosexual,
Yeah.
I'm a little
There's a word for those kinds of men.
Yeah,
and
creepy.
Well, I was thinking of the word that also means cigarettes in England.
Oh, no, you can't say that. Well, you can say that. You can't say
didn't
that. You have to say that for the Rumble pre-show. That's right.
But I didn't say that.
But you could. You could as long
I
as
quite
it's,
explicitly didn't say.
as long as it's before 9 o'clock. You can say that all you want. That's a
Well,
Rumble
if
pre-show
we were,
thing.
If we were still in the pre-show, I wouldn't have referred to cigarettes.
Yeah, you wouldn't even thought. You just went right to the word. I know you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole deal with the $20. So it's a controversy amongst several other controversies. It's a story with a lot of problems. So that's why when I said, you know, it's something we're talking about, there's a lot to that story.
I didn't realize it was as corrupt as it was. Like, I thought it was just stupid, but I didn't realize it was this level of blatant corruption.
Oh Lord, get me off this planet. So we have exited, we have flown in, and we have Sweeny. I'm gonna let you guys decide what you want to pick and tell people what you think, and I'm gonna set up the music for tonight because it is it's 9:30, so I have to do the poll thing, which takes my time.
I picked the last one. I think Jen can go next.
Yeah, I'm fine with the last one.
Sweeny?
Sweeny? Okay.
Well, it has options to lead into other things. Because anytime you talk about titties and feminists freaking out, it's always kind of funny.
Well, that was what I mentioned at the start of the stream. We have Men of Culture in the chat. They will hear the word boobs and they will click like.
Like, you know, there's this whole body positive movement that has done absolutely nothing but shame some women for having titties. Like, by God, they grew on my chest. The only way to get rid of them is surgery. I ain't doing that. Fuck yourself.
I think it's interesting because body positivity is all about women having a lot of fat, as long as it's not in their tits.
Right?
Tonight's band is the Cars. Poll is out there. Go ahead and make your choices. I was concerned about whether or not I should add this as a topic because there really isn't much to it, but this is mostly my opinion about this because she appeared on SNL, and that's where the femmes started losing their mind. The feminists started losing their minds, is because Sydney Sweeny accepts the fact that men like boobs, and feminists fucking hate that shit because you're contributing to the male gaze, don't you know? So, looking at, just to give you my opinion of Sydney Sweeny, it's great that she's a pretty girl, and to be honest with you, flick back her hair and take the photo from the neck up. She's just an average blonde chick. She doesn't have a distinct face. Margot Robbie, distinct face. Sydney Sweeny, one of 10 blondes I would never be able to tell the difference of. She's just very.
Made that point on
she's very typical.
This is before the SNL thing ever happened. Someone mentioned Sydney Sweeny, and I had no idea who she was.
Yeah,
so
she's new.
I just did an internet search, like an image search, and it's like, I mean, because people were calling her ugly, and I was like, no, she's not ugly. I don't think
average.
I think she's like one of a million pretty blondes, but she's not anything that really stands out. Though I did very much appreciate her appearance on Saturday Night Live for two very big reasons.
Well, the deal with her is, like I said, if you slick back her hair, because her hair is a lot of what makes her pretty, gorgeous hair.
Yeah.
Got a very pretty smile. And obviously she's very well built. You can even hear when I say stuff like this, I try not to use specific terms. I'll just say that she's well built. So those are all great things, but they're not the reasons why I like her. And I know there's a lot of women out there probably saying, oh, you like tits just like everybody else does. I'm not going to deny that. But what I find mostly attractive about her, and everyone's going to go, oh, bullshit, is I like her personality because she's not affected. This whole thing with feminists and men looking at her, it doesn't bother her in the least. She's got a rack. She's going to show them. She doesn't give a fuck. I love that.
I have no idea who she is. The only thing I know...
The actress.
I mean, I assumed, but like I don't know what she's been in other than
I don't
Saturday
either.
Night Live.
I don't either. I know she's been in things. People know who she is, but I don't particularly know which ones because I don't really watch TV, you know, so I don't really know.
Like I had only first heard the name a little while ago because someone said Sydney Sweeney was ugly, and I was like, who the fuck is Sydney Sweeney? And so I looked it up, and it's like, okay, she's fine. She's not ugly by any means, but she's not super attractive. And then the Saturday Night Live thing blew up. I was like, oh, this is that chick people were talking about before.
Now
I still don't know a single thing she's done except host the Saturday Night Live and have tits.
Right. But I mean, if you watched her close the show for SNL, she was laughing and she turned around and waved at people and she was jumping up and down. She was truly excited. You got to see real emotions like a real person. And in Hollywood, everything is scripted. Everything is developed long before it happens. And she just was a person. She's got Jennifer Lawrence vibes. Like she's a real person, you know, right. She's not, like I said, she's not affected. So all the things that turn people in Hollywood into grossness, she hasn't hit that yet. Hopefully it never does. Hopefully she stays as ebullient as she is now.
I wouldn't hold your breath. That's not going to last.
Well, the deal here is there was some controversy with her when she was first discovered because a photo was taken with her and a couple of people from her family. And one of the guys was wearing a MAGA hat or something like that.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. And she said, that's his belief. I'm not political. I'm not telling you what my beliefs are, but they're not that. And that was all she said. She never went back on it, never said anything more about it. People were pushing her. She kept her mouth shut and did her job. So, I mean, that's part of some of this is that there was that little bit of controversy at the beginning. It was her uncle or something like that.
Frosty is saying that she was in Madam Web. So
yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
That's her latest thing, but that wasn't. She's done a couple other things too. But
I'll trust you. Like I said, I've literally never heard of her until someone called her ugly on Twitter like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Johnny's got a point too. Jennifer, first female star ever, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence. The thing about Jennifer Lawrence, I don't really get too much into this, but the thing about her is she makes mistakes because none of her stuff is scripted. She just says what she says, and she can be wrong, but she is the kind of person who says, I'm adult, I'm an idiot, I make mistakes all the time. She admits to it. So I give her a certain amount of leeway when she does something stupid like that. But
yeah, I mean, my stance is even simpler. Don't listen to Hollywood actresses or actors, really.
Well, the only thing that mitigates that a little bit for me is she actually is a really good actress. Just straight up. I mean, she hasn't been in, I mean, she did the whole, with the bow and arrow. What the fuck were those movies?
Hunger Games.
Yeah, Hunger Games. And she was excellent in that. And even the stuff that kind of bombed, like Passengers. She was in Silver Linings Playbook. She's been in some good movies and some average movies. But I've never seen her just stink it up one day. You know, she's never really been bad.
I legitimately don't think I've ever seen a single movie that she's been in.
Well, you've never seen any movies.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like I can't comment on whether she's good or bad as an actress. I can only say that don't listen to actors.
Well, let's get the let's get the other view in this. Jen, what do you think of Jennifer Lawrence as an actress?
The only one I saw was Passengers, and I liked the movie. I wouldn't say it was bad or great. Like I wouldn't have said it was bad or great. It was just a movie. But I do try to distance myself from the actor and what they say in public, because when she's in public, she says some damn near retarded stuff, at least in regards to her own family.
But she says that. She says that, hey, I'm retarded, and she puts her hand up. Remember, she fell down. She was going up on stage. She was in a white chiffon dress, big poofy white, almost like a bridal gown. And she was going up to get some kind of award and fell on the steps. Remember her doing that? That is her. She's a goof. She falls and she does stupid things, and that's part of the charm of her, you know?
But
at least that's what I think.
Yeah, I will draw a distinction between liking a person and liking their work.
Mhm.
So I have no opinion of her work because I haven't seen it. I
Yeah.
don't like her as a person just because I don't like Hollywood celebrities. If I see something that changes my mind, then fine. But I haven't. She just seems like a generic Hollywood celebrity to me because I don't pay attention. So all the stuff that you're saying, cool, but like she's still just a generic Hollywood celebrity to me. I don't really like
So
her.
the thing with her goofing, I could accept that, but when she goofed the worst, it was actually when she was dragging her family in. Actually, when she was using her father as a political move to try to push herself out into the spotlight, I was kind of like, yes, you make mistakes, but when you use your own family members, you're kind of a fucking piece of shit. You know, I would take that back if she would actually use her platform to apologize to her father, because I see a lot of that, Hammer.
Hmm.
Like girls using their family members or their dads so that they can get social media points.
Yeah.
And I'm actually like, as a female, I actually want to slap them for that.
Yeah.
Uh, she could say what she wants about politics. Like, I don't doubt some of my opinions, even to people who agree with me, probably sound retarded because there's times where I don't know what I'm talking about. But I don't use my dad to do that.
Yeah.
I don't really like even talking about my brother. And like when I do, it's usually because sometimes I relate some of his stuff to stuff I see online. But I actually feel bad when I do it because he doesn't like the shit that he's dealing with. I don't think it's fun for him. You know? So I restrain from doing that unless I'm really, really mad at something I'm seeing online. You know, if I see somebody pulling garbage out of their ass, sometimes I'll mention him because I'm like, you're full of fucking shit. But I apologize afterwards because it's not right to use your family like that, really.
Yeah. Well, the last movie that Jennifer Lawrence was in was called No Hard Feelings. Did either of you
Yeah.
see that? I know Terry didn't, but have you seen it?
No.
Me, no.
Jennifer Lawrence is a pretty popular actress. Just about everybody knows who she is, even Terry.
Yeah.
Well, I
She,
would call shenanigans on the movie title because wasn't she part of that whole fappening nudes release? I'm sure there were plenty of hard feelings if she was in there.
yeah, she was. She did have her photos leaked. But what I was about to say was, she is full frontal naked in No Hard Feelings.
Okay, so
And
there were hard feelings in the
and I,
audience.
as I understand it, they did not use a merkin.
Okay,
So for someone who is known for movies like The Hunger Games and Silver Linings Playbook, some pretty big franchises, including the X-Men, that's pretty ballsy to do that. So he has no problem. I get once the leaks were out, everyone knows what she looks like. So was she going to hide? You know.
true enough.
But we're talking about Jennifer. We should be talking about Sydney. In any case, that was what I was talking about earlier. Is that she does her and Jennifer both don't seem affected by the Hollywood. If you look at people in Hollywood, you think, okay, all of these people are pedos, right?
Mm-hmm.
These two women give you the feeling that they're not. They're separate from Hollywood. They're working in Hollywood. It's kind of like Tom Holland, the latest Spider-Man. If you ever watched any interviews with him, he's like, you know, I have to work in Hollywood. I don't want to work in Hollywood. I don't live in the United States. As soon as I'm done my movie, I'm gone. You know, so I mean, he doesn't live here. He lives he's British. I like that about him, that he's not part of that Hollywood scummy crew, you know?
Yeah,
So I kind of put those three in the same box. I kind of give them a special break. I know you don't really like Tom Holland, but anyway.
yeah. I just put all actors in the same bucket until I see something that sets them apart. Like I will put William Shatner in a separate category because I've seen his Twitter and he's actually pretty cool.
He's pretty funny.
Uh, Yeah, but like unless I see something like that to make me change my opinion, I just default to everyone. Everyone whose job is actor probably not going to like you.
Right. Right. Well, there's a couple of conservatives. So if the crazy leftist Democrats are an issue, there's There's like 5. Kevin Sorbo's one of them.
Yeah. I do like Kevin Sorbo.
His tweets are pretty funny.
Yeah.
To be
good.
Well, I don't like to give people different privileges, but I will give people leeway when their behavior is clearly changing for a reason, or at the very least I'll hear them out. And I'll use like Tim Allen as an example. Like, yes, he's a conservative. Yes, he's a conservative, but I've never seen him really shove that down my throat.
Right.
You know, it was just somebody asked him a question and he answered. That's what I believe in. And he left it there. But once you go past that point, yeah, I start to judge you a little bit because like you sound like you're trying to get something out of me because you think I'm your fan. Is a little bit of that. I didn't get that from him. Now, on the other hand, if all of a sudden he starts telling me his opinion, yeah, I might listen to him now. Not because he's forcing it on me, but because I feel like a lot of people are in this position where, yeah, I think a lot of people are mad. You know, a lot of people speak for everybody else. Like, you know, I can imagine if it was a black person, like, oh, everyone wants to talk for me, you know, and celebrities really do that. Like, they really want to talk for everybody else. So if he wanted to see his piece, I'm not going to necessarily believe everything he says, you know, but like, yeah, I would be sick of everybody else talking on my behalf or pointing fingers at me or accusing me of shit. But I would like to hear what he has to say because you live right next to them, bro. I want to know.
As far as I'm concerned, if I know a celebrity's politics, that's already a black mark against them. I think they should just keep that shit to themselves.
That's what Ricky Gervais said. He said, "Don't just come up here with the was it the Tonys or the Oscars or something?" He says, "Come up here,
one of those award shows.
Yeah, get your little trophy, and then shut the fuck up."
Because
you know less than the average person does, so you shouldn't be talking.
I think was it Michael Jordan said because someone said, "Why don't you talk about politics?" Because Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a smart point.
Yeah,
I do agree with you. Being an actor doesn't mean your opinions matter. Does it mean that does it mean that I can't hear you out on occasion? Yeah, sure. I don't mind having an outlook into what some people might think, but I don't want it shoved down my throat, and I don't want it to be in this position of, well, you're going to teach me something now, right, Mr. Actor? Like, fuck you. Like that stuff. Yeah, no, I don't need their opinions.
So, Hey Camel says Golden Globes. I don't know if he's referring to Sydney Sweeney or when Ricky Gervais gave his speech.
That's Ricky Gervais. It was the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
I knew it was some award show.
There was a couple of those, though. Like, he's done that a couple of times because they don't listen.
Well, on that specific Golden Globes, he said it was the last time he was ever going to do the Golden Globes, and he had done it a couple times before. He says, they keep asking me back, so I'm going to keep doing it. This is the last one because I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It was a great routine.
It's also possible that Hate Camel was just admiring Sydney Sweeney's Golden Globes, is my point.
So, we actually kind of talking about exited a little bit when we were talking about Colorado. Haley only wins Vermont. That was the only one she won. Now, that's not the only thing she won, though, because she did win the District of Columbia. Yeah, not a state, a district. So she did win them, but that's like winning the nuclear power plant. You know, you don't want to go anywhere near DC. That's the scummiest place on earth. So winning it is actually a bad mark for you.
Oh, yeah.
So
I saw that point being made all over Twitter where people were saying, like, Nikki Haley won DC. It's like, yeah, that's like the Swamp Central. Like, it's not a good thing to win that.
It's not. It's not. I used to work near DC. So, I mean, you ran into scummy people there on a regular basis, and it's a bad place. Excuse me. And she did. She finally dropped out. The deal is she did not endorse Trump, even though she said she would. First of all,
I saw that.
Nikki Haley said that she would never run against him, and then ran against him. And then when she took the debate stage, she said that whoever won, she would endorse, and then she didn't endorse him. So she lied twice.
She said, I forget who it was. She quoted someone who said you should make. Oh, was it Margaret Thatcher? don't follow the party, just make up your own mind. So I'm not going to endorse Trump.
Yeah, she says it's up to Trump to earn the votes now. Is the term she used. So,
which she was doing anyway. Thanks, lady.
Earning them would be an understatement. He's killing people. So, I can't wait to see Biden and Trump go after each other. Holy crap! It's going to be a bloodbath. Trump's just going to.
I hope that Trump turns up to presidential debates in an Easter Bunny costume. Biden will be too traumatized to speak. It'll be the easiest win Trump ever gets.
At least Biden will know where to walk. Trump will guide him along. Go this way. Finally, the last thing we have on the list is flown in. Have you guys heard about this at all?
Which eagle are you flying in, Hammer?
Apparently, and this is confirmed as I understand it, because they admitted that this was actually done. And the phrase is Biden admits to flying 320,000 migrants secretly into the U.S. to reduce the number of crossings at the border.
That's insane.
It's a
good.
Oh, sorry. It's just I'm not meaning to be stuck on the Thatcher shit. It's just it's almost kind of offensive that she went there. Like when you talk to people from England, yes, there's people who still kind of hated Thatcher, but a lot of people still respect her. Like when I talk to like most of the older guys that I know from there's people who consider her to be one of the last competent leaders they've had.
She was known as the Iron Lady, right?
She was.
I will forever like Margaret Thatcher because there's an Australian journalist called George Negus. He interviewed Margaret Thatcher, and she made him look like a complete moron. So for that reason alone, I like Margaret Thatcher. Whatever, she might have been the worst tyrant England has ever seen. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Who cares? She made George Negus look like a prick. I like her.
Like, I have heard criticism of her. Like, she wasn't an angel, but, like, people that have come since, I'm like, I've felt for England a lot. I'm in the same boat. I look at my guide, I look at your guys, and I'm just like, man, where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong?
There's a lot of hate in chat for Nikki, too.
Oh, yeah. All over the internet. I don't think I've seen anyone actually in favor of Nikki Haley. Like, I've seen people anti-Trump, but I've never seen anyone say, actually, Nikki Haley would be an awesome president.
Yeah. I've never heard anybody call Margaret Thatcher Maggie before. I guess if you're British, well, maybe if you're British or British adjacent, maybe Canada too, but not in the States. In the States, it's Margaret every time.
Yeah,
I've never heard anybody in the States call her that.
Margaret is her like proper name, but yeah, right. I've seen her called Maggie.
I could see her friends calling her Maggie. Actually, I could see her being called Maggie. No, I wouldn't though.
Hannah's point is that Lisa in chat called her Maggie Thatcher. Yeah. Not best friend Lisa.
I know.
Regular English citizen Lisa referred to Maggie Thatcher, not Margaret. I've seen a lot of people say Maggie Thatcher.
Lisa and Maggie were girlfriends. So.
No, I think it's more of the relationship that the British have with their leaders. Like it's a different thing than what we do.
Yeah.
Like it is different. It's nice in some ways, but in some other ways it's frustrating because like when you look in their past and I'm like, there's other ways to deal with your leaders,
I like that Australia just gives everyone a nickname. So like our Prime Minister is Anthony Albanese. Everyone just calls him Albo.
Yeah, that's cute.
We've had this discussion before how Americans see Brits and how the still active British colonies see the Brits. You guys are much more forgiving than we are. There's a certain amount even to this day, they're our allies. We will defend Britain like we would any other ally. And we do have a lot in common, but there is still old wounds, and that I don't think that ever goes away. So there's still people who look at the Brits and like, yeah, we don't particularly like you very much. And now that they're doing this whole thing where that guy got 2 years because his stickers were saying men are men or something like that. Did you hear about that?
Christ. Yeah.
It's one of those...
Britain is getting a little scary, man. They're getting very China-like. I'm a little concerned. Good, Jen. Jen? You lost Jen?
You there?
Canadian.
Oh, she badmouthed Trudeau one too many times. And,
Canadian internet.
Yeah. Oh, they gave Canadian healthcare to her internet connection.
All right. Well, give her a couple minutes. We're almost at the end of the stream anyway. So yeah. Adam, I agree with you. I love my British friends. Everybody that I deal with that's in Britain.
Oh, there she goes. Yeah, she dropped.
Yeah. I have no problem with British people, but I do have a problem with British government.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, I have problems with all government, but I have no animosity to Australian government whatsoever, because they've never done anything to us. Right. And I really don't have any problems with Canadian government, except for there's been some shady, questionable trade agreements with them where they kind of took advantage of the United States. So they're a little like, what the fuck's wrong with you guys?
I will always have a soft spot for England, because so much of the TV that I watched as a kid growing up was English. So they made so many shows that I just have such a strong sentimental attachment to, that they're always going to be pretty cool in my box.
Yeah. Well, they better course correct, because I don't like the way they're heading. It's kind of It's kind of authoritarian, and
it's not good. I mean, but the entire West is turning that way. Like Australia is no better. I mean,
you read what Lisa said in chat?
Yeah.
Government is right now is ass, and Australia's also ass.
I mean, she's not wrong.
No,
there's a reason even though voting is compulsory, I basically don't vote. I turn up, get my name crossed off, and then put a line through the ballot and submit that. I don't vote for any party because I don't like any of them.
Hello.
Welcome back. Were you attacked by Trudeau? What happened?
Can I not hear you?
Can you not hear me?
Your connection got healthcare.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Good. That's a problem.
I'm talking. Look at the bubble.
Well, for the hearing impaired, we will have a sign language person translating.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Jen.
No, I just can't hear you. That's the problem.
Me? Can you hear Terry?
Hello.
Let's see.
I don't think she can hear any one of us.
Nope, doesn't seem that way.
Well,
I mean, it's the end of the show anyway, so...
Not only that, but, it's the Wednesday show. There's got to be some kind of technical difficulty, or it's not a show.
Of course.
This time it wasn't me.
I gotta try and unplug and plug it back in.
It almost never is.
She said she was going to unplug and plug.
I heard her. It disconnected her entirely just by disconnecting her microphone. It disconnected everything.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll keep a closer eye this time for when she comes back. There she is.
There she is.
Hello?
Cool.
Hello? Oh, she's not working at all now.
Well,
poor Jen. We love you, Jen.
Luckily, the show's over, so it's
it's
you can just do the outro and then we can troubleshoot Jen. After.
Yeah, it's 9:59 almost, so I make sure to put the time on the stream so people know exactly where we are in the show.
Yeah.
So, and we've covered everything, all topics.
Yeah.
I really wanted to cover more about the flown in part. That's the one we didn't really get to. I just mentioned the topic, but we really didn't talk about what that entails. But that's okay. I'm sure next week will be 3 to 5 more things for us to talk about.
Yeah, of course.
Because that changes every hour, it seems.
Yeah.
So, and I'm hungry. Man, I am so hungry. So I'm looking forward to getting the hell out of here.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, that's good. We'll do that. Let me go ahead and get to the outro text so I know what to talk about, and we'll get the music playing. There we go. The song just had a preamble with no music for some reason. That's weird. Thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember, the Minions are live every evening, including weekends, with most shows starting around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Host and start times are listed in the description down below. Don't forget about the Rumble pre-show. That stream will start generally a half an hour before YouTube, and we'll definitely include the F word. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, guys. Bye from James.